Hello and welcome to the Supports Commentary. This is a gameplay and injection of thoughts, critique, and advice. My name is Bluegill, and thank you for joining me today. I am doing a Genji gameplay commentary. I have a Dirt Ball on my team, and later on in the match, a Froggy G will be joining up. And I had a Ted, a Vinian Spike, and a Lone Star on the other team. Playing on AI Station 404, this is usually an intense map. For the first 10 or 15 minutes, just trying to see whose turret goes down first is always a struggle. So my main focus coming into the map was just trying to keep my teammates, keeping them in front of all times, because anytime someone goes back, that gives the other team the advantage of pushing harder. So trying to keep everyone alive and trying to keep the lane as strong as possible. So I got the solar tree because I expected a lot of matches to occur. You get your money from your solar tree back after 5 or 10 minutes, so if you expect to be playing longer than that, it's good to have. And I thought I'd get the piggy bank along with that as well, because a lot of times I was playing, I could hardly ever get solar. I either kept getting picked off or I was letting my teammates get the kills. So I figured getting that little head start would help me get the advantage, especially for what I bought. I got the Monarch Blessing, and then I got the Caterpillar. I had the best success with the Caterpillar for healing. With the other items, the Cocoon, you have to trap something to heal someone, and to heal the wand, you have to stay. It's hard to heal someone because you're really slow. Unless you have a tank in front of you, it's hard to get your shots all the time. Whereas with Voltar, he's much faster, and he's able to keep up with just about everybody, especially with the boats. But I preferred using the Caterpillar. I just save it for when myself or someone else is going to be just attacked, or when poison, just pick someone off, just for emergencies, or just when just after I need it, just after someone takes a hit, so we can justify the damage. And having a shield and the other boosts as well really does help. I was fortunate to have a tank on my team, 2 tanks at first, but one was doing a lot better. He seemed to be fairly new. It was just a matter of protecting him as much as possible, and especially when he lagged out, because there's quite a few times in the game where he kind of skips and warps here and there. I don't know really what to do with that. Just try to protect his mill and try to stay a couple steps ahead of everyone, and have my blessing ready for when myself or Dorple needs it. This is a spot where Ted really has the advantage. With his, it reminds me a lot of the Gears of War, the Hammer of Dawn, I think you call it. Because if you get that upgrade that allows you to hit everything in the level vertically, the jungle's right above, so if he's taking some damage, he can just drop it. Even if he doesn't hit someone in the lane, he has a chance of hitting a creep in the jungle. So it's tricky. He has the same difficulty as fighting a Na does, because a lot of Nas tend to have plants in the jungle, and which gives them the advantage of having visuals and also getting replenished every so often. It's not too difficult to avoid his attack, I think, because you can be, if you're not directly in the center, the particle doesn't seem to count as a hit. Even to the side is okay. And thankfully we had a Froggy G join us. This really gives us an advantage, because myself being at the back of the team, someone to be at the front and take damage and deal damage, and someone to cover our flaws, whereas I'm sacrificing health for power. Someone who is slow, who deals a lot of damage, but someone who can pick off anyone who's trying to run away, or stop them in their tracks with stuns. So he made a good choice of picking someone like Froggy G. The Caterpillar isn't too strong at first. You only do 10. It's better than nothing, but you can do it 2 more times to add up to 30 in total. It used to be almost 50 at one point. It's gone down quite a bit. I wasn't using it for a little while. I was having a really bad losing streak before I recorded this. I was trying to record a Genji gameplay, trying to show good footage and showing a win. But I noticed my big problem was using Cocoon on droids. What I was doing wrong, I believe, was I would Cocoon a droid with Moon Nectar, so I would heal my droids. But what I didn't realize was the droids can't go through the Cocoon, which means if the droids aren't moving, that's distance they're not taking to the turret, as long as you're not blocking their path. Because if you do, that's precious time wasted that could be done doing damage on turrets, or I prefer to use it on enemy Awesomenauts, because that's when using the cocoon helps Thurple set up his nuke, or helps Froggy G take down someone quicker. I don't like using it as much on droids, but I've learned that having it as an emergency brake on the enemy, it allows me to set up attacks for my teammates and their attacks, because they need a little time. Thurple needs a little time to set up his nuke, and Froggy G allows him to catch up to them in case they hit a jump pad or anything like that. Just try to use it on enemy Awesomenauts if you can. It does. Use the Moon Nectar if you want, because using it on an enemy, grab a little bit of health. I think it does 40 health, all in all. 20 on each side. I believe that's how it goes. If anyone needs it, they just go to the side and prepare to flank them. I could have used more heal items, but I find that if you're trying to go for full heal, you may as well just go for Voltar instead, because he doesn't do as well, but you can do a lot of damage. You can control a fight much better than Voltar can, because Voltar just makes the fight last longer, whereas Genji, he can constrict it. His big problem is he's slow. He has some power to him, he's just adjusting to his speed. And just as soon as I see someone, such as Vinny and Spike, go for the dive, it's always good to stay away with your teammates as much as possible. It's much harder for a Thurple to escape than a Froggy can. But just keep him more of an eye on Thurple, giving him a chance to heal up, and me giving him a chance to get away in case someone tried to go after him. But the good thing about Genji's auto attack is that it pierces enemies. Instead of just hitting one enemy at a time, it can go through multiple. It works really well for when droids are attacking the turret. It just helps whittle them down and helps push the lane up some. Yuri's auto attack can do the same. Genji's can be made to be very, very powerful, whereas Voltar, his drones can do it, but I don't think they pierce enemies. Yuri's has the advantage of having a much, much better distance, and it can be a lot faster. You have to stay still when you attack though, that's the drawback. What I like to do, whenever I'm going to go back to base, I always release the humming droids, because they do make a difference. They do 8 damage per shot. I prefer to go back only when everyone else in the lane. If someone dies, I wait till they come back, or someone teleported. You need all the power you can at that lane to keep that turret up as long as possible. It's just a matter of endurance. So just one person going back at a time allows the push to keep going. I decided to just keep upgrading the Caterpillar, because it was working quite well. Just the only problem was just keep my teammates alive. While we all did lead the lane for a few moments, it's just I didn't see the point of being at the lane by myself, because I don't have much for my attack. Doesn't do a lot of damage. It does a little, but following my teammates and then applying the blessing as soon as it's done, while they're killing creeps to get health back, it just helps them get back to the lane faster than if I had stayed in the lane by myself. While you may want to push the droids away from the turret, it's almost always a bad idea to do that, because while you may be saving your turret a little bit, you're making yourself vulnerable. You're taking some damage that you don't need to take. And especially in close quarters like this, if I expose myself just a little bit, they all can get a dynamite, bullets, and dive bomb. You have to be especially careful with the dive bomb and the dynamite. Anything with burst damage or anything that can reach beyond the edge of a wall. It's important to remember that some attacks do go further than the turret, so while all of you may be behind the turret trying to stay alive, they could just come in, do one pop, and you all could be dead one hit. When you're playing support, you're not focused on attacking all the time. You can look at your teammates, see what they're doing. You can look at your enemies, see what you're doing. I find I have more breathing room. I can give myself more time to think. Whereas it's just attack, and kill. I can keep an eye on the environment. Say if the droid's out far and if I see a big circle, I could say there's an enemy over there. Where I might be attacking, I might not be focused on that. I tend to get tunnel vision quite badly. That's one of my flaws with playing a powerful character. I get quite bloodthirsty. Just where I'm not used to having so much power. Genji has quite a bit to him. I was just waiting until later in the game, because my allies have a lot of power to them already, so I was just focused on keeping them at the front, dealing that damage. What a lot of people like to do with Genji is, there's a good video that Weasel made, having Genji as a brawler, and I'm quite surprised by how well it works, even still. The numbers aren't as high as they used to be for this video. It was before the Starstorm expansion. But Genji is quite capable of just, you can make that wand to be quite powerful, and using the cocoon to stop people, and say if you have Moon Nectar, just grab some health or have the lifesteal even. You have the advantage of lasting a long time in fights. And you have the shield, you have Cocoon to stop enemies and give yourself time to attack them, trying to block them off from escaping. If you have a Genji on you, it's the only real factor you have an advantage is speed. Unless you can do a lot of damage to him immediately, just trying to wait till his shield wears off and just try to squish him. Because otherwise it can be quite difficult to take out a Genji. But I found myself, I have better use behind my teammates than trying to be by myself and take them out. Because there are other characters specialized to be that. Genji used to be quite ridiculous, not so much now, but he still has a lot of capability to him. Lone Star does really well on this map because his bull can push the droids past the turret and into that jump pad and they just fly away. That really and that is bad for you because that leaves you with no one to block your turret. And it takes them a little while to come back because they hit that turret, they hit that jump pad, and then they have to walk their way back because they're not very fast either. It doesn't take too long, just those precious few seconds where they could be blocking the turret from the other droids. That's when they're all getting hits. Because the droids spawn 2 per lane, it goes 2 lanes and then 1 lane in the middle. That's 4 droids attacking 1 turret. So if you do not have good defense at the start, your turret will go down quite quickly. It's a very intense map. That's what I like about it. It has those tense moments. I've had more memorable matches on AI Station than I've had the others. A lot of good matches I've had, mostly from just people who were just chill or just making jokes, having a good time, having a really good strategy or just outsmarting someone's strategy. I remember one time I was playing against a Yuri, a Leon, and a Na. The plants would block the turrets. Yuri would be planting his mines and Leon would try to bring you into those mines. It took, I think, at least 45 minutes for that match to end. We did win it, but the only way we did it, we just did everything one at a time. We just took out one plant, we just took out the plant slowly, helped keep the droids alive for as long as possible. Using the Moon Nectar on the plants refilled the droids' health, and then just attacking anyone who tried to get close. Staying away from the mines as well, because having no idea where Leon would be, because he used those mines to his advantage. So when the plants were taken out, we would wait for the mines to expire, and then we would start pushing in. Taking out the plants would take out visual and damage for the droids. Waiting for the mines to expire took away Leon's advantage. And that gave us a chance to just push in. It took a long time to do, but it's just a matter of patience and just having the stamina to add to a strategy. With Genji though, the only real way for defense is just outlasting, just make yourself take less damage or just stalling an enemy entirely. Stalling an enemy does have its benefits, but it's just a matter of where and when. Because I could just hit a drone in the middle of nowhere, but that doesn't do a lot of good. I could hit enemy droid in front of a turret, but that blocks my droids from getting to that turret. They're just taking damage for no reason, because they can't get past that cocoon. In parts where someone's trying to take out one of my teammates, if I can land the cocoon on them, that gives my teammates time to either set up an attack or to get away. So cocoon has a lot of benefits and a lot of negatives to it as well. Aiming is one thing. It's just trying to think of, is it a good time for this right now? You might be able to save a life or take one. You might be able to keep a push going, or you might be hindering it as well. When you're going to use your blessing, I always try to give both my teammates if possible. Even if one teammate's fully healed, just having that shield really does help, and it helps them be more confident in their ability. Because I could have just healed Durble when he needed it. But for RPG, since he's always going down in front trying to get that last hit on the enemy when they're running back, seeing that my allies were at pretty good health, and they were both at the front, even if no one ends up attacking you and your ally, just staying with them, being a bodyguard. It's always good to be a bodyguard to your allies, just in case someone does try to come in and take them out, especially when they're going back to teleport, because you don't know where someone might be. For someone like Vidian Spike, he could have been up at the top of the map and just dive down, see if someone's coming, come back up, come back down, see if someone's coming, and then just come down, swoop, take someone out. So even if I couldn't do a whole lot, distracting them away from my ally. And it gives your teammates a lot of confidence that showing that they're being looked after, that gives them a lot of motivation to do better. So looking after your teammates, either just being there for them or just protecting them to the best of your ability, it does pay itself off. They look after you in return, and having a strong ally, they will return the favor if they believe that you're competent. You just have to give them some respect. Even if you're not playing sport, it's always good to be constructive to who you're playing with or against. You might have someone new that you're playing with, and just being that guiding hand does help a lot. Seeing that you believe in them and you're being respectful and not being a dick. Because being a dick, like, oh, you're feeding, why the hell are you doing that? That doesn't give them really a reason to protect you in return. Because if I was just being an asshole, I probably would have died a lot more. I knew that I needed my teammates to win, and I knew that they were pretty good. One had some bad lag, but it wasn't their fault. It's just, I believe that was distance. It wasn't skill related. An old habit that I have is just staying with the lane all the time. I'm learning that being with your allies, even if they're around in the jungle, because it could be 2 versus 2 up there, but if you go with them, that will help them get out of jungle faster and get them back onto the lane. Because you might think, why the hell are they in the jungle? They could be pushing the lane with me. No matter what you think, just go with them, help them out, and if you help them survive, they'll return that favor. Again, paying respect to them. They'll come back and they'll help you with what you were doing. You help them, they will help you. The cocoon takes some time to practice aiming with because it's not just a straight fire, it has a lob to it. So where you might shoot someone in front of you, the silk, it has an arc to it. So remembering that, try to aim down a little bit, or aim at someone's kneecaps or their feet even, because even if you're aiming down, it will go up a little bit. The biggest problem is the platforms, because if it hits the surface of anything, it will burst. Being able to predict your shot, seeing if you can avoid hitting a platform, or avoid hitting a droid and going for the enemy instead, that gives you those precious seconds to do whatever you need to. In improving my cocoon, I went with slow. I like using the slow because that helps my teammates go after someone better. It's pretty obvious, but when someone breaks out of cocoon, they have their escape plan. How am I going to get out of this? I always like going for attack speed on my items. I like attack speed, personally, because if someone's chasing after me, I can just pelt away at them a lot quicker than having a stronger but slower attack. Because what if I miss? I feel more stressed when I have a stronger attack, but if it's slower, I prefer that speed because if I have a crafty enemy, I might not get a lot of damage, but I may be able to do just enough to at least have them get away from me, or be able to kill them. If you can keep a calm head and time an enemy's movement, you can really get the advantage with Cocoon and the Blessing as well. There were a lot of times I just waited for Vinny to pop his dive bomb attack. If any damage was taken, I would just pop the Blessing, and if he was right in front of me, I would do my Cocoon and stop him from doing any more damage. What I like using with the Blessing is having the getting out of the hood item. It lets you and your teammates run 30% faster. I like using it near the end of the game where you need to get to the enemy core or get to the turret as fast as you can. It works a lot better as an escape tool or chasing down someone. Having a Froggy G on my team really helped with taking down people or even just helping my teammates not escape. And where I have such good items for my Blessing, I figured just have my cooldown reduced, so I can apply it more often and keep the push going. It takes about 14 seconds for the Blessing to recharge. So each time you buy the Crimson calendar, it takes off a second and a half, can be bought twice, so 3 seconds, so 11 seconds is a lot better than 14. You could have the other healing items. I don't like using the Cocoon as my main healing because you have to have a sacrifice. But that sacrifice may be in the way of your lane, or that sacrifice may pop out of that Cocoon and take you out. With the wand, it's hard to land your shots because it only does 2 or 4 in one direction. And the big problem where, as I said, where you're slow, it's hard to get all your shots nailed down, and you might be slowing down your allies, having them wait for you to catch up with them. My thoughts on Genji: he has a lot more defensive capability than Voltar. Voltar does have some strong things, but he's just good at blocking an area, say defending a core, or for healing everyone. He doesn't have a lot of self-defense, I should say. Genji has a lot of power that he can access. He has access to buffs. He can change the amount of damage someone takes. He can change attacks. He can change movement speed, or just blocking in general. Whereas Voltar, he just repairs and heals, and he might be able to defend the turrets. Genji's a backup who's quite capable on his own. Whereas Voltar, he can't do too much damage, but he is able to keep everything alive. much better than Genji can. It's just when you're going for kills, you can help set it up, whereas Voltark, as long as your healing's good, you can help someone take more damage. And I went to reduce my cooldown even further for the blessing. I got the boost just to keep myself safer from attackers, and keeping up with Froggy G especially. I really like that they changed the maps around for Easter. They just added a little scenery to it. I had no idea they did that. I know they changed things around for Halloween and Christmas. I'm not sure if they do any more than that, just for the 2 celebrations. It was a nice surprise. I had no idea there was Easter theme. So it's kind of cool. It just makes the game a little bit fresh. The biggest thing that pisses me off though happens every game where I'm a healer or support. I might be healing someone. They may have about 5 or 10 HP left. Then they take the health pack that does about 50. If there's someone healing you and there's a health pack in front of you, save it for them. Please, please, please save it for them. Save them a headache. If you want me to watch your back, keep mine alive. It is appreciated. And knowing that you have some respect for me, I will try harder to keep you alive. What you can do with the cocoon is, say if a clunk is getting ready to explode, or if a Raylan's getting her sniper rifle charged up, if you apply the cocoon to them, it will stop that animation. So you're putting yourself at a lot of risk by trying to get them. But if you do land that shot, you are preventing a lot of damage from happening. I chose to get the prefab cocoons that lets you do an explosion at the end of your cocoon. It does not do damage to the host, but it does damage to everyone around it. So if there's a push going on, and if you get even just a droid, if they don't get away, they're gonna take a bit of a hit. It breaks the concentration of the other team quite a bit. They say there's an explosion, gotta get away, gotta get away, gotta get away. So it helps break up that team structure. It can break them up, it can split them up. Really lets you take advantage of that sense of panic and anxiety. Then I got the Moon Nectar to help give any more health to myself and my team, or even just the droids if none of us decide to get it. And then where I have a little bit of solar left, I just decided to get a little bit extra damage on my wand. Yeah, even if no one does get the health, that's health for the droids to pick up. And the health that the cocoon drops, it's team colored, so the enemy cannot pick it up. The drawback to it is an assassin can wait for someone to pick up that health, and Awesomenauts. I prefer using the incense over the storm cloud. The storm cloud is good for area denial. It's better for droids though. It does do a little bit of damage, but with the incense, it will do 10 damage over time. And it does about 2.5 damage every second. It takes about 4 seconds for the damage over time to go through. It doesn't do 10 extra damage every hit. It's just after 4 seconds, that's when 10 damage will do. If you keep hitting them with the incense, it just resets the timer. So every shot you might do that extra 2.5 damage. It's just if they do manage to get away from you, that little bit of damage may be the killing blow. It's a lot better than the storm cloud where they will stay away, but it doesn't work as well because you can run through the cloud and you won't take very much damage. Whereas if you get one hit with the incense, that's guaranteed damage at some point. I like it a lot better. It's a lot better for newer players because they don't realize that running through the cloud doesn't do a lot of damage. If you get someone stuck in a cloud, that does work quite well. It's just a matter of getting that set up where they take more damage than where you had the incense instead. Or you could do both, but I prefer having that attack speed, damage, and then a bonus. So I decided to go with the incense just to help out my teammates take out an enemy. So that's all for this video. If there's anything you would like to add, what items I could have got, something I was making a mistake with Genji, anything you think I could have done better, it'd be nice to know. So there you have it. Thank you very much for watching.
Victory! Your team 1 Punkt, enemy team 0.